Trump's pointless National Guard deployments to cities around America haven't only disrupted life there, scared the hell out of people. They've also been, as we said they would be, a massive waste of money. How much? Almost $500 million and counting. And that's just for half a year of these deployments. So the new estimate says that his deployment of both National Guard and active duty Marine personnel to US cities, which look, that's just become normalized now, that's a thing that you do, even though it was utterly unprecedented, has cost approximately $496 million between June and December of last year. Continuing the deployment for the next year could cost the nation over $1 billion, the estimate found. That was estimated by the CBO. They estimated that it would cost the government about $93 million a month to maintain deployments nationwide if they continue at the same capacity and size as the ones at the end of 2025. Deploying 1,000 National Guard members to another US city in 2026 would cost between $18 million to $21 million per month, depending largely on local cost of living. So that's for one city. Now, obviously, there's a lot of swing districts that they're gonna wanna blanket with troops, so $1 billion could end up being a very conservative estimate there. And here is what Abigail Jackson, one of the propagandists at the DHS, said about this. Don't worry at all about the $1 billion or whatever. Thanks to the Trump administration's highly successful efforts to drive down violent crime, cities like Memphis and DC are much safer for residents and visitors, with crime dropping across all major categories. The media should talk to individuals who are able to go about their daily lives without fear of being assaulted, carjacked, or robbed, thanks to the Trump administration. Yeah, the media should talk to people on the ground, which they have, of course, been doing from the very beginning. And they found a lot of people who do not like their cities being invaded. And what do you know? DHS is doing exactly what we said they would do. They go into cities that have had reductions in crime. They say crime is out of control. We show you the evidence that crime is down. They say, no, don't even worry about that. Then a couple months later, they leave and they say, hey, what do you know? Crime is down. No, crime was already down. We did not need to waste $500 million on it in a country and in a budget situation in which we are continually told we don't have money for anything except more deployments of DHS and Border Patrol and ICE. There's always money for that. There's no money for Medicaid, there's no money for pipelines, there's no money for food stamps, there's no money for health insurance subsidies, there's no money for building affordable housing, there's no money for any of the stuff that benefits you and your family. Boots on the ground, there's always gonna be money for that. Now, last week, Donald Trump took a little bit of a backtrack, I guess. They've announced, the Pentagon, that both the Portland and Chicago deployments, like the one in Los Angeles, have been demobilized. Trump said in late December that he would end his efforts to keep troops in those three cities after a 6-3 ruling by the Supreme Court found that the administration had failed to identify a legal way in which the military could, quote, execute the laws in Illinois. So he's pulling out of those. And that's good. I'm glad that he did. But maybe they've already accomplished their mission. Not getting rid of crime or whatever, that was never actually the mission. But they did get us to the point that I was worried we would get to, that we are very much at right now, which is, as I said, it is now normalized that he just deploys active duty military personnel across America. And so when he does it tomorrow, when he does it next week, when he does it in the 2 months leading up to the election, people will freak out, sure, but they're not gonna freak out quite as much as they did the first time. Before DC and LA and Portland and Chicago and New Orleans and Louisville and all those places. We're just used to it at this point now. And so they're gonna go there, there's not gonna be as much media attention, and maybe they interfere with people trying to vote. Maybe they interfere with the operation of the vote counting sites. Maybe they destroy the ballots at a couple of ballot drop boxes or whatever. And maybe there's not as many eyes on the ground. That to me feels like the ultimate mission. And isn't it amazing that Trump gets a couple potentially $1 billion worth of assistance in controlling the elections and he doesn't even have to pay for it. In fact, it's you and me that are gonna pay for that. It's an amazing deal he's got going there. When your company is growing fast, damage control is essential, especially in order fulfillment. Before ShipStation, we'd spend hours tracking orders and following up with customers. Now, our team has cut that time in half. With ShipStation, you can basically let your shipping go on autopilot because it's just that easy now. The problem is usually too many disconnected tools. ShipStation solves that core problem. It's an intelligence-driven platform that brings order management, rate shopping, inventory, returns, and analytics all into one place. Connect to over 200 sales channels. And instead of 5 to 7 confusing apps, you've got just one command center. And here's the best feature. It compares rates from USPS, UPS, and FedEx, including your negotiated discounts, to find the best option for every order with savings up to 90% off. Already have carrier rates? Bring them. Keep your discounts and add ShipStation's automation. Set up rules once and ShipStation picks the best carrier, finds the best rate, prints labels in bulk, and even sends tracking updates. Those tracking updates alone cut customer service inquiries by 12%. Plus, their returns management and analytics show you exactly what's coming back and where you can optimize. Try ShipStation free for 60 days with full access to all features, no credit card needed. Go to ShipStation.com and use code DAMAGE for 60 days for free. 60 days gives you plenty of time to see exactly how much time and money you're saving on every shipment. That's ShipStation.com, code DAMAGE. ShipStation.com, code DAMAGE.